Okay, so today we're looking at a bit of character creation, and I'm going to go through the tutorial section of the game. I also want to just talk a few things over while I'm doing the tutorial section, but for now we're going to get straight into character creation and have a look at some of the new options that we're seeing. So this is a second account that I'm using here. I'm going to create myself a dragon, and we're going to have a look at the start. There are a few points that I want to cover, namely one of them is a current bit of an issue that I'm seeing. I briefly mentioned in my previous video regarding character slots. Now, character slots are still an issue for a lot of people. If anyone's been frequenting the Secret World Legends subreddit, and I believe on the forums as well, you'll have noticed that people, even people that bought multiple character slots for the previous game, are suffering with an issue that they are not getting their character slots, which is not cool, man. Okay, so we're having a look. We've got a brand new interface for the character creator. Previously, we were looking at an interface that had a lot of drop-downs and click-through. It was very reminiscent of early Sims games, in my opinion. So, kind of got a female character in here. And that's sort of some of the textures, just to see. They have been, I feel they've been updated a bit, and it looks a little better, which is very nice to see. Oh my word, that hair. Beastly. So we've definitely got some new hairstyles and hair colours and appearances. There is some new clothing in the area for both male and female characters. So we're going to be looking at this for a start. We start out with choosing sort of our facial structure and race. So we've got some Caucasian various age. So we've got a slightly older face here with some wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. We have got some black ones. All pretty cool looking. I've got some Asian ones, well, sort of slightly more Asian in structure. And I almost want to say some of these feel like American Indian structures almost in their appearance, but anyway. We've got a nice wide palette down the bottom here for skin color anyway, skin tones for each structure, which is nice. Further to choosing your base structure, we also have some facial options. Now, I appreciate that we're looking at a game that has a lot of stuff to do with occult and various references to Latin and all that kind of thing, but I'm finding this kind of a bit of a, just for the sake of it being all showy. So we've got 9 options, but they're in a hexagon, because of all the hexagons that this game loves, we've got a bit of an odd layout, in my opinion. But hey, we'll make it work. Again, got a bit more of the same old colour options here. Hairstyles, we've got a fair few new hairstyles. I almost want to say that it feels like some of the hairstyles from the other gender have been made available for some cases. Generally speaking, from my understanding of the female options, there tend to be more female options than male options a bit later on, but we'll have a look at that in a mo. Definitely a wider selection of hair colours, which is nice to see. We've got quite a few more vibrant, almost like neon. We've got a few pastel colours, some nice highlight colours. Look at that, dashing blue eyebrows and ginger hair. Lovely. That is something that we can do as well, is independent eyebrow colouring, because customization was never good enough without it. Have some green eyebrows. Eye colour. Again, we've got a nice selection here. With this kind of thing, they offer so many eye colours. I almost would have liked to have seen a colour wheel or a colour picker that we could have used, because, you know, they've covered most of the options here, but I like a nice white set of eyes. That always looks really, really intimidating. We'll have some red, why not? Facial features, we've got tattoos, we've got some bruising, I believe, dirt. Quite a nice wide variety of options, to be honest. We were quite lacking previously. We could have some facial hair. No independent colour choices, it seems, for this. You have to stick with either blonde, brown or black, or slightly off ginger there, I suppose. Which is fine. I mean, they try and cover as many as they can, but I would like to have seen the hair colour options for those as well. I mean, come on, you know, green soul patch, man. It's missing, is all I'm saying. Makeup that is now available for gentlemen. About time. About time. Okay. Anywho, we got our character height still. I'm happy with that. Again, so for females, the options are all the same. We've just got different structures and design, different hairstyles. The textures still look good. My other character that I've also made, I've made one female and I'm going to make this one male, just for the sake of demoing some more stuff. We've got all of our accessories here. We've got new accessories versus the Secret World that you can actually get now that used to be available for purchase in London in the Secret World. It's nice to see that they've introduced a few more here. However, we are actually missing some from the original game. But I'm not going to throw too much of a hissy fit over that, to be honest. Let's go for a camo jacket. Why not? Yeah, black jeans, combat. Oh, there we go. I like these. There we go. Let's go for blue. Coat, chest. Yeah, let's have a shirt. Shoes. Why not? Let's go for some trainers. So there's a wide variety of clothes now available as well, which is nice. Not much in the way of eyewear still that I personally find good looking. We're still missing a decent pair of aviators, but you know, you can't please everyone, I suppose. And hats. Yeah, cool. We've got a nice selection here, but just remember that these aren't the complete limitations. There are shops in-game for various armors and stuff like that. Now, this is a big change for Legends. You get to pick a starter class. Now, originally in the Secret World we had decks, and then eventually they introduced starter decks, which were a mixture of the two weapons you're going to be using in the game. Some of these are different in that we have the different weapons required are changed now. So for example, Trickster is now Chaos Focus and pistols, whereas it used to be fist weapons and Chaos Magic. Magus used to be Elemental and Shotgun and is now Elemental and Chaos. And they've also changed some of the outfit. This is the old outfit for the Polarizer, which is an interesting change, but equally Magus used to be a full deck, it didn't used to be a starter. But anyway, Gunslinger, primary pistols and shotgun. Shotgun and hammer, blood magic and assault rifle. We've also got a nice little bit of thing here where it tells us the favoured roles. So, you know, in other games we'd have, you know, we have damage, DPS and tank. We've now got damage, healer and survivability role. I'm not entirely sure on the survivability role. I think it would be better described to players as a tank, because that's a familiar term, but either way, we'll work with it. I think I'm going to quickly go and pick a... Oh, I'm not entirely sure. Let's go for Trickster. Let's try that out. Picking our name. This works similarly to the first game. You have a nickname which is viewed by all other players. And we also have our first name, which is still difficult to choose for me, but we're now falling into a thing where previously in the Secret World we had pretty much so many names were taken it was difficult to find something, and now we're in a nice situation where you can choose what you like. Anyway, that's the character creation, and we're going to load into the tutorial, and I'm going to talk over a few things that have come up recently on the Secret World's sort of forum, the Reddit, just to talk over a few issues that people are having. And the biggest one that I find, I'm going to skip through these so that I can get playing in the background. They are story based, so we have got a new tutorial area. However, it doesn't replace the old one. So previously, I will tell you when we've moved on to the original area, but we've now got a new area which sort of serves to, I guess, introduce people to the combat system that they've updated, and also to introduce people into the style of missions, because there are some mission styles that are completely off the wall compared to other games out there. Okay, so we've just woken up in a wonderful dream world. Let's go and talk to the dream architect. Hello there. So we're going to be moving through a cemetery. And we've got a nice little guy down there that I've missed the box completely. So in this case, I'm not going to turn the reticule off. In my previous video, I had the reticule turned off because I personally find it to be a bit, I don't know, I'm just not keen on it. So I turned it off, but we're going to work with it. We're going to work with it. Anyway, so we've got our Chaos Magic bound to C and click because I'm yet to rebind. But anyway, so we've got our Consumer, which is our click, which is this sort of AoE spell. It goes like that. And Q, which is our builder. So I'm going to run in here and throw that around, and we're just going to use our builder. Da, 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 da. In the previous video I mentioned having the trouble of targeting people due to a lack of any kind of lock-on. So with the reticule, you'll see that when you just sort of have to do very, very, very fine aiming, and with creatures like these zombies that are running quite quickly, it can be quite difficult to track, because we're not playing a first-person shooter, you know? Okay. That was one of the issues that was quite regularly mentioned in the closed beta. So during the closed beta, we had access to the beta forums where people posted our feedback. So when we had that, a lot of people brought up that there was a decided lack of targeting and that people were genuinely struggling with their classes that they were previously used to because of this new system where their targeting was a bit funny. Which again is no problem. But it is something that we reckon would probably be good to fix, which could be nice. A big issue that's been coming up at the moment, that sort of emerged over the last day, is realization that people do not have access to the amount of character slots that they were expecting. So in the secret world, prior to the release of Legends, you were given a base 3 character slots, which I always felt was pretty good because then that allows you to play a Templar, an Illuminati, and a Dragon. While the main game itself isn't too much different, each faction offers their own unique quest chains based on your rank. They all have unique characters, you know, some quirkier than others, some entertaining, you know, all that would be really nice for everyone to experience. Now, in the Secret World Legends, we are currently stuck with 1 character slot. Now, for people that are new to the game, that's fine. If it's free to play, that's one of the things that you would expect in a free to play game, is limited character slots, which is fine. For people that played the previous game who may have had 3, again, while I can appreciate that we're moving into a free to play game, I mean, even giving members, you know, legacy members, giving them access to maybe an extra slot, even that would be nice. Some people, however, are definitely feeling cheated at the moment. Specifically, there are some members on the forum and on the Reddit that have been, you know, that have purchased extra character slots in the secret world. Some people up to 6, giving them a total of 5. They have not seen anything at all in this game. So despite their investment, they're limited to the single character slot, which is a bit of a bummer, really. Following on from this, well, before moving on, I really do hope that Funcom addresses this, because I can appreciate for those people, even if the members that are just standard legacy members, even if we don't get additional character slots and we're stuck with 1, I can't imagine, well, I can imagine how cheated the people that have previously invested into this game feel, considering they've had character slots taken. Following on from this, there is a bit of an issue at the moment with the Aurum system. Aurum is the paid-for currency in the Secret World Legends. This is essentially replacing what were Funcom points in the Secret World. Any leftover Secret World Funcom points can be transferred into Aurum in the Secret World Legends, which is good. However, at the moment, there seems to be a bit of an issue with the transfer between the currency of what's been shown in-game and what is actually being taken and charged on people's credit cards. there have been several posts on the forum and on, well, specifically on Reddit, where people have been finding that charging, when being charged for Aurum, they are finding an additional charge of around €10. Same goes for the patron membership, which is listed at, I believe, $9.99 UK, €12.99, and I'm not entirely sure the US price. I believe it's $14.99, but I may be incorrect there. My understanding is that this isn't a problem in the United States due to VAT differences, but in the EU and the UK, we're seeing issues where we're not actually seeing the VAT added onto the account. And I've just stood on a tile because this is an investigation mission that requires a bit of thought. So we're seeing cases where players are having to pay additional money where the VAT cost isn't actually being shown in game, which is a massive issue. While it may seem little, it's not. It's just a bit of a absolute pig, and I really feel that it needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Oh, excuse me, my mouth is going a bit dry. Right. So, we've gone past some of the combat anyway now, so that hasn't really required too much explaining. So I'm just going to start talking a little bit more about the game now that we're getting to something that is a little bit more a staple of the secret world. So we're looking at an investigation mission, which can be seen in the right hand side where there is a picture of a laptop. That denotes an investigation. As you can see, there are 3 tiles above the door, and I've got to activate 3 tiles. So this is quite a basic one. This is something that you would see in, well, let's say Skyrim, for example. Any of the barrows you go to where you have to turn the stones to match the stones, that kind of thing. Nice and simple. They do become a lot more complex and will involve a real-world investigation, which is why I believe it's still here. If you press B, we have an in-game web browser, which can come in very, very handy. I do hope, however, they've fixed it where if you had your browser open and you passed into a new area, the browser would close, which is a bit of a bummer, to be perfectly honest. But there you go. We make do. So, the next type of mission we're going to look at is one of these. We're looking at a picture of a stick of dynamite with a timer. This is a sabotage mission. Sabotage missions require you to be a little sneaky, avoiding traps, potentially avoiding enemies, jumping over lasers, tripwires, that kind of thing. So we're going to come down these stairs, and here we can see there are mines all over the joint. And that one just went off for no apparent reason. Anyway, we're going to take it nice and slow through here and around the laser beams. In the video I released yesterday, you will have seen the King's... Okay, I was pretty sure I missed that, but never mind. You saw me completing a quest in Kingsmouth that required some avoidance of security cameras. This is a similar kind of thing. But this is obviously the tutorial one, which is to act as a bit of a walkthrough for new players, which is absolutely fine. One thing that I am finding with the tutorials, however, despite the fact that I have played countless... Now, while I'm thinking about it, we're going to have a quick talk about this. This is avoidance. So you can see we've got a mechanical beast creature over there that is trying to see me. Now this is a new thing. Can you see how he's got a circle around him and a cone in front? This is the detection radius. This is new, which is quite nice to actually be able to see now without having to sort of guess where you can and cannot be seen by NPCs, which is nice. So we'll go to him. We're going to get the code for the door. Okay, 3691. And we're going to go over here and enter 3691. Okay, boom, done. This is a very simple example of for a investigation, a sabotage mission. They do become far, far more difficult. Lasers will come to instant kill you. As you saw earlier, I accidentally hit one. I think that may have been lag related, but hey, bad gamers always blame their tools, right? And we've got some loot. And we're moving out here into the final stage of this part of the game. So story missions are denoted by the camera reel. As you can see on the right hand side, we've got a blue symbol. This denotes that we are on a story mission. And we're going to have a quick fight with the unutterable lurker. What a name. And this will essentially complete the first stage of our tutorial, which is absolutely fine. Okay. Right. Now we are moving into what is the original tutorial stage from the secret world. So in the original secret world, we awake in our chosen city. So for example, my character is a dragon, so we're going to be awaking in Seoul, in Korea. Sorry, I should denote South Korea. If you're a Templar, we're working with London, and if you're an Illuminati, you will awaken in New York. These areas all have a hub for each faction. However, it's quite nice that you are able to visit each other's cities without being kind of attacked for being different. Don't you just love that about other MMOs that are faction-based? Right. So, we're going to open up here by starting with following the butterflies. So we're going down here. This is, I guess you could say, our first sort of introduction to our areas, where we're going to go walk about. Follow the butterflies into the hotel. Again, I am skipping the cutscenes, however, they are storyful and wonderful. So we're going to go upstairs and we're going to go through here. Okay, now each area has a story way of putting you into this. Now, following the law of the secret world, this is the filth attacking Tokyo. The tutorial takes place in a subway in Tokyo. We will be assuming the role of a member of, as you can see here, we've got, oh wait, it's a person, but it's not a person, it's me. So these are the guys that were attacking the unutterable that we were fighting earlier. And again, this acts as a tutorial area. Now, before I move on, part of the issue that I'm finding is the way that the game has now been redesigned. We are using both tutorial areas as a way to receive our weapons and be taught how to use them. So we are in the opening area. Basically, we get taught about our weapons and the new weapons system, which it used to be the big weapon wheel, which I personally quite liked because you could see everything. But we're now onto a more almost talent tree kind of system that you see in other games, where you're sort of slowly building through and you get your ability at the end. Originally in the secret world, you used to be able to turn around and go over here, come up these stairs, and this would allow you to exit the tutorial. However, the tutorial now, you have to continue through the entire section, as far as I know. I'm yet to play through twice on the same account, as the character slot limitation and the money issue at the moment. I will not be buying an additional character slot, at least until I found out whether or not they're going to be introducing them or not, which I hope they will be. Okay, so we've got to fend off the filth. The filth are like an overarching enemy for the game. They are taking hold of various parts of the world, and you'll come across them in many, many places. But they're not a problem, they're all soft and squishy. So, I'm going to try and see if I can make points on where I feel that a lock-on would work. So for example, now in this game, we've got two enemies here. I was attempting to attack the one that was running to me first. However, where it moved past me, it then immediately locked on to the enemy that I wasn't trying to aim at. So that's a bit of an issue for me, but we'll work it out as we go. Something new to the game that I feel could have done with a bit of explanation. I appreciate there's a help menu, and a brief explanation is, as you can see at the bottom, we've got two sort of I guess, windows of sorts, like meters. We've got a chaos magic meter on the left, and we have pistols on the right. Now, I kind of get what these do, but I just feel that they are kind of like almost unnecessary, I want to say. Either way, I hope they get a bit more of a use later on in the game, because I'm yet to see any major use of them. I mean, I understand how the elementalism one works, which kind of makes sense to me. However, for example, with the Magus, we're looking at a character that uses fire magic as primary and has a frost ability. Now the Magus works on the more you use fire abilities, you start to overheat, and when you overheat, it sort of almost puts your spells on cooldown and limits on what you're doing. However, the only way to counter the overheating is by using one spell. You have one spell at the beginning of the game. It is the only one that can reduce your heat other than not being in combat. Now, the issue I take with this is that when you're in combat, if you have one ability and it's an extended fight, for example now I'm fighting wave after wave, so there's barely any downtime. Having one ability that has a cooldown as the only way that you can cool yourself other than not fighting, it just feels counterproductive and almost awkward, because I'm having to stop and take some time to actually allow myself to continue fighting. It just seems a bit backwards. Anyway, we now have a separate passive menu instead of having everything thrown into one, because it used to work where your passives were thrown in with your abilities, your active abilities. So for example, you may have a few ranks of active, and then you might have a passive, and then another active, and it would go on and like that. So we're going to be moving forward. Can't sprint because of damage. Good times. We're going to proceed through the next platform gate. Or are we? So this is the second time that I've done this on... This is the second time that I've done this on the Secret World Legends, because I've done it on my other character. And it is slightly different from the original, but not a great deal. So it'll be very familiar. Yeah, it'll be very familiar to players, which is absolutely fine. And it's nice, because it gives you a bit of a familiarity, so it's almost like it's not a new game, but it is a new game, if that makes sense. Which is quite nice. So we're going to cross the tracks alone. And we're going to go down there. And we're going to grab this little nugget over here. Now, in the base original game, these were called lore, but they're now called legend. I guess that gives a bit of credibility to the name, I suppose. So we're going to have a quick look at this. So we press L, and we've got our legend. So legend is pretty much the equivalent of lore in all your other RPGs. There is so much of it. You can look here. Global lore, 1 of 283. 283 pieces of lore. Solomon Island, which is the first questing zone, 104 pieces of lore. All of them wrapped up in nuggets like that. They're either found around the world like that, or sometimes they'll be dropped by enemies, and you can pick them up, and they usually have a bit of information about what you're killing, or the area that they come from, or what happened to them. This is quite a cool way of using it as like an almost a research by killing, which I'm always down for research through violence. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of that in video games? Okay. And here we are joined by our teammates and an Orochi member. These guys will become a bit of a mystery through the game. They're like an antagonist almost, but they're quite interesting. And there are quite a few quests that are very interesting that are linked with the Orochi. And I apologise for how I'm quite clearly using the incorrect spells. I'm clicking instead of pressing Q because I'm yet to rebind the keys for this character because I'm kind of going on the fly. Which is fine. Okay. Right. So we're clearing through one of the final stages of the tutorial area. But again, I feel that this, for veteran players, this is something that is an absolute time sink, considering that I've personally done this at least probably 3 or 4 times previously in the original Secret World, but it now seems to be something that cannot be changed. I mean, as I said previously, I'm yet to create a second character on the same account, so if anyone has played that and is willing to correct me, please let me know, and I'll update the video a little bit and stick a caption under maybe. But I need to be told these things, otherwise the information will remain invalid forever until I find out. And I've also realised I'm not really using my my ultimate weapons enough. But there you go. There you go. Could be quite interesting to play primary weapons as pistols again. I played, in the beta I was using pistols as my primary weapon, and I had a bit of an issue with them. I played Gunslinger, which is shotgun and pistols. Now, in my mind, dual shotguns should be... No, sorry, dual shotguns? God, that'd be nuts. Dual pistols, in my mind, should be faster firing than a single shotgun. However, in the beta, this was not the case. So hopefully the handling has changed, maybe? That would be nice, unless I was using them wrong, in which case I will happily stand corrected. Anyway, this is the final stage of the tutorial. So I'll just let this play because it's pretty cool. So following this, we will be going back to London. London? I'm not a Templar. You go back to Seoul, or your starting city, where you'll be sent to meet with the main quest giver for your order. And then following that, you are routed onto the starting sort of first area, which is Solomon Island, which is the place that I was in the first video that I made yesterday. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in a previous video, I don't have time powers. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in an upcoming video, please let me know in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more upcoming content on the Secret World Legends, along with various other games that I'm going to be hopefully lining up and doing a bit of videoing on, because I'm enjoying myself. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.